A quaint town with industrial roots. These buildings were home to a few, but are close to the hearts of many here in East Haddam, Connecticut. Today, on a special episode of the INCGiving show, we'll take you onto the streets of Johnsonville to learn of its rich history, and most especially see how its new owner is giving a chance to preserve and remember the stories that this town holds. I'm Lois Paula. Welcome to the INCGiving show. The INCGiving project encourages volunteers in countries around the globe to share their faith through acts of kindness. Sign up there, free event neighborhood appreciation day. Oh, that's awesome. So it looks like a lot of the brethren are setting up. These buildings, look at it. They definitely look older and worn, but they look inviting. I just arrived in Johnsonville, Connecticut. I can't even begin to describe how beautiful these historic buildings look. It really feels like I walked into the 19th century. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to see everything up close.
It was an old mill town. The old mill burnt down, unfortunately, but they used to make twine for fishing nets for the fishermen on the river.
Been coming here for a long time to Johnsonville. When we had a restaurant here, many of us had dinner over and over again. We loved the place.
Now, over the years, we watched this area develop as Mr. Schmidt brought in different buildings and everything. And the activities were just phenomenal.
The building across the street is probably the one with the most historic value, if you look it up.
That's original. That came here.
That was
it
Neptune
was not brought
Twine
in.
Mill.
Yes, okay.
And,
so the original reason and the value that it brought to this town was the mill.
The mill,
Gotcha.
and it was one of the oldest continuous in operation mills.
Yes.
And it closed not too many years ago, 15 maybe. Mm-hmm. So that was quite interesting to see all that old mill equipment running.
Well, the one that was operating most of the time was this one up here with the brick. It was a restaurant.
The restaurant.
And it was a restaurant for a while.
Is that what the Red House is? Is that what they called it? The Red House?
I think they called it the Red
House.
House. Yeah. Well, because my friend Carol lived in the green house over there, the big house. That was their, I guess, the main house. So I have memories of being in there.
When Ray Schmidt had it, he did a lot of nice things for the town. All these buildings, he would decorate them during the wintertime, and they'd all have lights, constant flow of traffic, just to view the lights. So.
And you said Mr. Schmidt had brought in all from different countries, brought into
different states.
United States mainly, these buildings came from,
some
and
from Vermont,
he transported them and put them back up.
And then what did that do in terms of revitalizing?
He did it personally.
It was a personal thing, and he did it one building at a time.
Yeah.
Did the community have a vested interest too? Like they were helping him?
No, it was just his love.
Yeah, it was his passion. It's what he wanted to do.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm going to go steer him away from the bouncy house.
Yeah.
It was obvious that Johnsonville Village had a rich history, so I decided to do some research at the East Haddam Historical Society. So Johnsonville is a village in the Moodus region of East Haddam, Connecticut. It was formerly run by the Neptune Twine and Cord Company, which was part of the once thriving mill industry here on the East Coast. In the 1960s, an individual named Ray Schmidt had purchased the property. Not only purchased it, but he imported beautiful buildings from around the New England region to basically beautify the area and create this time capsule for everyone to take part in. And he opened it up to the community, which many residents are saying that they loved. It became a pride and joy to a lot of people here in East Haddam.
Because
he had a vision.
he had a riverboat parked on the other side of the lake. He's got a paddle boat. He had
Carriages for the weddings, like you mentioned earlier.
the chapel that's up here on the hill had all types of weddings in it, and farther down in town there was a company that had carriages that used to actually
Yes, they did.
rent them out for movies and everything. But they would come down and people would hire them, and they would have an old-fashioned wedding, and you'd see 4 to 6 carriages lined up with the wedding parties and everything going to the chapel, and it was a very Victorian type old scene that they were able to create.
It was a moment in time.
And his wife was the organist.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So even them, it was a family
It
affair
was a
for them.
family. Yeah, they lived.
They lived in
that house over
Yeah.
there.
The greenhouse.
Yes.
It was wonderful to hear from the residents about their memories of Johnsonville. The town has a place in their heart, especially for Elsie Snell, the great-granddaughter of Elsie Mae Talbot Johnson, the first owners of Johnsonville Village.
Well, the mill was the centerpiece of the village down near the dam, and there was a lot of equipment making a lot of noise. Big leather belts were slapping, and the spindles were spinning to wrap up the twine. So it was very noisy. And in the evening, when the day was over, it was still. It was completely still. And then the neighbor over here, Mr. Lukey, sometimes would sit on the back step on a Sunday night and play his fiddle and play some music. But it was a very still, peaceful area. Very still. Neighbor next door, she was a friend of mine, and then the neighbors down to this house, they were younger, but we would play together. We made up things to do. We had good times. And we'd play under the dam. When the dam was still, we'd play in the brook under the dam. So during the war, it was different. I remember the end of the war because on the mill there was a bell tower, and everybody had gathered in the village, next to the pond where my grandmother had an umbrella table and benches, and Grandma Johnson said to ring the bell because the war was over, and I always remember that. And then when it was going to be sold, and Ray Schmidt came in, he had good plans, but he made a lot of good changes. The village was very active with the things that he did. The town came here and held craft fairs, wonderful craft fairs. And then when he died, and I think that's when things were auctioned off. The house was auctioned. It broke my heart to go into the Johnson house and see how things were left. For many years, I couldn't come through without crying. I couldn't drive down this road. And then as I got older and stronger about it, and the good memories came back, and then I looked at it and I just thought it's just a shame, and I hope that someone would buy it and love it the way we do. I was hoping that someone would come along and do something with it because it had potential.
Not only did the residents share their memories with me, but they also shared their fears, as well as their hopes for Johnsonville Village. What does it mean that you can actually walk down these streets again?
Well, it's good to see it, that somebody's going to take over and do something, that it's not just going to keep falling apart. I mean, the buildings, you could see those. They've gone downhill horribly. Yeah. Actually, I was standing here a little while ago just remembering what it was. Yeah. 20 years ago, it was just so beautiful.
It was
but basically, 20 years, nothing's happened.
The truth, I was afraid. I was afraid because it was a group that already had settlements in other places. And I'm not familiar with the church at all. I knew nothing about it. And so I said, well, I'm not going to be afraid of something I don't understand, so I'm going to come here. the first article in the newspaper made me a little leery, and then when I read the second one and said, oh, well, they help people. That's what church is about. That's what life is about. It's helping other people. It's not easy. It's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back with life. I think, would they be happy? Would the Johnsons be happy? I hope so.
The July purchase of this historic property made news, and since then everyone's been asking, what next? Today, the Church of Christ invites the community to be a part of its future. We'll find out how when we return here on INCGiving. Stay with us. Welcome to the INCGiving show. We stand on the grounds of Johnsonville Village in East Haddam, Connecticut, where after a few decades, the streets of this town are finally open to the public because of its new owners, the Church of Christ. Now the occasion today, a Neighborhood Appreciation Day.
It's a meet and greet to get to know the members of the church and the members of the community and just build a bridge.
Today we are here in Johnsonville, Connecticut, and we're having our Neighborhood Appreciation Day. This is where the brethren here in Northeastern Seaboard come together and show our appreciation to the communities that surround Johnsonville, Connecticut.
So to come in and see all your members and see all these shirts, I mean, I've seen hundreds of people here so far today. Really being part of that community, I'm looking at some of the scraping already, then some of the upkeep that's already happening. It just fills me with a lot of optimism.
To find people so helpful, where to go, friendly, friendly, welcoming. I wanted to welcome you. I wanted to meet my plan was to meet the minister right away. Take me to the minister. I want to welcome him.
It's a great event, and we're very interested in knowing what's going to happen to this beautiful property.
And welcoming everybody to the
welcome.
community.
It's amazing.
We love our town. So.
We love our town.
So what is in the future of Johnsonville? We'll find out right here on INCGiving when we return. Stay tuned.
The activity that's happening today is a cleanup activity.
And we are preparing this property for the Neighborhood Appreciation Day.
The membership and the members here are truly good people, friendly people. So I'm hoping that the reaction is a positive reaction, and they should, whatever doubts they had should be erased after they meet and see the membership.
Welcome back to the INCGiving show. This was the room, the meeting house of Connecticut's 62-acre Johnsonville property, where not too long ago history was made for the signing of ownership of this new Church of Christ property.
The church buying the land for a little more than $1.8 million.
Very interested in meeting people and enjoying each other. So welcome aboard.
Oh, this is going to be the first of many activities that we look forward to having here in Johnsonville. We have many plans in the future, but because we got to know the residents, the communities that are nearby, this gave us a chance to get to know the people first, before anything. If we were to have another INCGiving activity, or perhaps maybe a medical mission, something that we can do to reach out to the communities here. Our plans for Johnsonville is to renovate and restore the existing properties or existing buildings that are here already. The neighbors that we have here, the buildings and the whole town itself is something very close to them. And to know that they pass by and they see the town in its state right now, to know that it will be restored and renovated, it really inspires them. It not only inspires them, it makes them happy. So in our Neighborhood Appreciation Day today, just like our houses of worship, we wanted to make the people, the surrounding communities here in Johnsonville, to feel welcome, just like in our houses of worship. And the more we get to know the surrounding communities, the people nearby, hopefully they'll get to know us too as people, but most of all as members of the Church of Christ.
Oh, okay.
So it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
So much. Enjoy your day.
I also got a chance to talk with INCGiving volunteers Cliff and Josh Sturba, who were born and raised in Connecticut, less than an hour away from Johnsonville Village.
We've only been here for twice now, probably 3 times, but I've already grown fond of it.
Through the weeks that we've been coming back, we've slowly just been getting to know who they are and how much importance they give to the history of the town. And then through that, we were inviting them slowly. We were sort of expressing, oh, we're going to have a big event on this coming Saturday. You guys should come over, bring the family. We're opening up Johnsonville. And the second you heard we're opening up Johnsonville, all of the people that we were talking to, they just became so excited. They were just happy to see life coming back into Johnsonville, and that was through the church administration. We were part of the registration group. We got to meet people as they came in, and a big question that they had was, why? Where's the hidden trick here? What are you trying to do? And that's a fair question, because you have to think of why we're spending this much energy, this much time today doing this kind of thing. And the answer is really simple. We just love what we do. We love helping. It's just something that it's love. I mean, through our actions of volunteering, and it's positive, and it's good energy, and the vibe here is so good. Everyone is so happy, from the brethren who've been working all day, happy, to the guests who are still coming in right now, happy, excited for the future. And it's just one of those things that you just really want to be a part of.
We're very happy that you all are here and wanting to reach out to us and maybe bring this place back to what it used to be.
I'm here to offer the assistance of the Economic Development Commission in the town of East Haddam to work with you, and as you proceed to get permits and do all the regulatory things that we have to do, we would like to assist you and help you go through that process.
I'm still crying.
Can you describe to us your thoughts as you saw everything that was happening?
Hope. Really, I saw hope.
That this is going to be a place that is about the giving that you just pointed out to me on your shirts. I'm hoping I can help bring that to fruition, to share your message so people really understand what's going on here.
Because why wouldn't you want to bring this beautiful place back to life again? We're crying for it. We hope it happens, and we'll make sure it does. If you don't give up, I know a lot of members of East Haddam won't. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you for that warm welcome. We appreciate it. The hope of the people for this town is so strongly felt, even miles beyond the property. They've told us of their excitement in what the INC can and will do, with the belief that there will be new life brought into the community. Stay tuned for more ways to participate in acts of kindness here in the region. Thank you for joining us on this special episode of INCGiving. Remember, whenever you possibly can, do good to those who need it. From Johnsonville Village in East Haddam, Connecticut, I'm Lois Paula, who will see you next time.